Hey guys, Jamie here from Start A Riot. I'm here with Stephen from Tellison.
Hi.
Cool. Welcome back to Manchester. It's nice to be back on tour.
Yeah, really good. I think the last tour was in September when the album came out, so it's good to be back out. We're sort of blowing the cobwebs away a little bit, but we're I think nearly a week into it now, so
That's cool.
Starting to feel like we know what we're doing.
Muncie Girls are supporting you as well. We caught them last week in Liverpool. They were really cool. What's it like touring with them?
Really, really good.
Yeah.
They're a great band, great songs. We played with them in, I think, late 2011 or 2012. I think they just started, but kind of we were all pretty impressed, and I've been trying to get us to do something together since then. We just got lucky in that we managed to do it when their record came out. So yeah, it's really good. It's
cool.
great to watch them every night.
They said they were trying to be really healthy on this tour. Have they stuck to it?
More or less. They we're a bit older than they are, so we were expecting them to be kind of partying and going crazy. So when they told us on day one they were just eating salad and drinking water, we were surprised.
You're touring your third album, Hope Fading Nightly, which came out late last year. It's an awesome album, like really good album. You kind of talked in other interviews, and I think that article in The Independent when it premiered, I read that. It was really cool. It's nice to have like a breakdown of tracks because then I know what to ask you.
Right, okay.
But you kind of talked a lot in that about how the album's kind of about like failure and regrets. Do you feel like you've kind of worked through a lot of those in doing the album? Like, is it a cathartic thing? Or?
Yeah, it's definitely a cathartic thing. There was a lot of... I certainly feel like it was by naming the kind of demons or the bad thoughts I was having, I kind of laid them to rest a bit. So yeah, I mean it's sort of weird with playing quite a lot of that material live, and to play a song at a concert where you resign from the band that you're playing the song with is a pretty weird thing, and like people sing the words and stuff at you. It's very strange, if you break down what's actually happening there. But the record was sort of, I guess, a cathartic experience, to kind of attempt to deal with some of that, those negative thoughts I was having when we weren't really doing anything, or like I'd go and watch my friends who are still in bands or stuff and feel like, oh, is Tellison even am I gonna do this again? So a lot of it was trying to work through that stuff and make something creative and positive out of something bad.
Do you feel like it sounded like quite a difficult album to make and write? Do you think you've kind of come out the other side and it was all worth it now?
I feel it was worth it. It was... I don't know if it was any harder to write. The first record is easy because you're just a kid, and I didn't even think about it, and then we had the songs and it was like, oh, we'll record all these songs and there's the album. Second and third records, I've sort of sat down and said, no, I need to write 10, 12 songs for a record. So there's always been a kind of intent to start off with, but once I've done that, once I've sort of set myself that goal, I'm quite driven, I suppose. So I kind of just try and make that happen, and then those songs all suck, and then I write some more, and we get there eventually.
Right. Okay. The album to me seems largely also about that kind of transition into adulthood. Which is something we all have to deal with, unfortunately.
There was certainly it's a lot of the songs on there are kind of dealing with that feeling of I suppose it's probably every generation has it, but like coming out from university, I think particularly we grew up in a kind of a boom period of the 90s where the West was kind of thriving, and there wasn't like pre 9/11 there's not a huge amount of like this terrible stuff hanging over you. Or I mean, in my kind of rose-tinted memories of my childhood, that's how it felt. So by the time we all kind of graduated, it was kind of a different world, and obviously post-financial crash and all that stuff contributed to, instead of leaving university and getting the great paying job that you've been told was the reason you were working hard at school and then at university, we all ended up, I was selling mobile phones and then kind of cleaning up sick in a cinema and stuff, and you're just kind of going, what was this all for? Like, and feeling a bit I think it's probably 90% my own naivety believing some of the stuff that was floating around, but this is not what I signed up for. It's there was a sense that I felt like it wasn't worth it, and I'd wasted my time, and sort of it was too. By this point, I'd been through university and stuff, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? Yeah. And the only experience I really have is of being in Tellison, and that's clearly not, we're not going to be the Beatles. So there was a lot of me trying to figure out how I was going to spend the next 10, 20 years of my life. And working through those kind of worries and anxieties by writing songs about it is sort of my coping mechanism. So.
I worked in Boots when I left.
Right, everyone has these.
Tact is Dead is like the I don't know how to describe it, like the totemic song of that kind of idea. Very much like it resonated so strong when I heard that. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened to me as well.
After we released it, a lot of people started coming up to me at shows with very similar experiences, and it's quite heartening to know that you're all going through it together, because I certainly didn't really talk about that stuff with my friends any more than just kind of people in passing saying, oh, I hate my job, or on a Monday morning, oh, I've got to go back to work, or or drunkenly one Saturday night going, oh, it's awful there. You don't actually talk about those feelings of you're in the shower before you have to go to work, and you're just thinking, I don't want to do this, and you're there and someone's telling you what to do, and you just think, it's awful. I still feel those. Because I certainly kind of really punished myself for the situation I found myself in. I kind of said, well, this is my fault. You deserve this. Like you've made your own bed, as I was like scooping puke out of like another horrible toilet or something.
This is what I get for doing a media studies degree.
Right, exactly. I did English literature, and I was like, I should have done that law degree, or like become a banker or something. I'm an idiot.
Do you think it's quite ironic that the chorus, obviously, like my generation doesn't mean that much to me? I don't know if you're talking about the song or our actual generation, but it's kind of ironic that we are all going through it together, and there is kind of a sense of camaraderie that we're all fucked together.
There's a certain like kind of trench mentality, or like rapport, I guess, you build up with people who are in an equally seemingly hopeless situation.
Definitely.
I think the thing about the song was that I felt quite, at the time I didn't know that there were these other people feeling the same thing. Right. I was just on my own in a flat with no money and just couldn't afford to go out or do anything, and I was just feeling awful and kind of saying, well, I've missed the boat, really, and that's what I suppose partly that lyric comes from. It's obviously a callback to The Who as well. But I just thought it'd be kind of an interesting thing. It was something I've never really done in songwriting before, is try to be that kind of inclusive, and I mean, you used the word totemic. Like, I always had been much more personal or abstract. Actually, the first record is a lot less clear what's going on lyrically. But I was quite nervous about doing, because there's a very fine line between, it will be okay. There's a very fine line between doing something that speaks to people, hopefully that has, and doing something that people just go, you don't speak for me, and you upset people, or there's potential for kind of people like responding negatively to that. I wasn't trying to be subtle particularly. I think at first I was just kind of hiding, I suppose. I wasn't willing to share that much of myself publicly, because it is, you go and stand on stage in front of people and play in a band, you're asking them to judge you. I mean, that's explicit what's happening. You're saying, you decide if this is good, or if you think there's any value in this or whatever. And then the lyrics are another level of that, and I was just very sort of private, I suppose, and just tried to cover things that I didn't want people to be able to figure out what I was talking about, because for me it was a personal exercise in kind of the catharsis, and I wanted to be able to like get it out of me, but I didn't want to share it, which is very sort of selfish and weird, niche little thing to be doing. But over the years I've sort of wanted more. I guess I've just wanted to become more explicit, and I've got more comfortable with sharing more personal stuff. Someone asked me at the show last night, like, I can't believe, how do you do that? And I think it's just, we've been doing this for 13 years, and you get more comfortable being on stage and and it kind of that ease you feel allows you to share more, be more open.
I think like a performance thing, people can tell when you're holding something back as well.
Yeah.
I think. Do you think maybe that distance from recording the record and then obviously it's been out for like 6 months now? Mm-hmm. Do you think that's given you more, made you more relaxed about performing and you can put more into just performing the songs, or do you think there's more of a disconnect?
I think you get a disconnect as a performer because you do something over and over again and it kind of loses meaning as everything. You say a word over and over again and you stop being able to. It loses the meaning that it formerly conveyed. I try quite hard to find some emotional connection live because for me that's kind of part of the experience. Yeah. And I love it when you see bands who appear to kind of really mean it, be for real, actually mean what they're saying, and it have some emotional impact. Yeah. So I work quite hard to make sure it's not just stuff by rote, and I'm actually thinking about what I'm saying. Yeah. But with this record, I knew what I was kind of gonna. I was very thoughtful about the lyrics I was writing, and I knew I was going to have to perform them live, and I was fine with that from the start, and actually looking forward to it with Taxis Dead Out. It's scary to share something like that, but I was excited for what might happen, and it's been very gratifying that people have responded to it.
It's a great song. Like, it's my favourite on the album because it's so like. I can relate to it so much as well, and yeah, definitely. And it's just great riffs as well. But Rookie of the Year as well. I thought that's a really interesting song because I think in the article you kind of said it's like a sports metaphor and stuff. And I was wondering, is it like kind of a metaphor for Tellison as well? Like you obviously like your first 2 albums you kind of had a label and management. I know this album came out on Alcopop. Shout out Alcopop. But you kind of done this all on your own, and you've not focused on trying to gain commercial success.
Right,
anymore. You're just doing it for yourselves.
There's definitely a kind of biographical element to it, and I'm not blind to the fact that what I'm singing about could very easily just be like the Tellison's career or my own career or whatever. But I think that for me was kind of the fun of it, is that I was basically in the period when I sort of first started thinking I'm going to write a new record now. I was living at my sister's flat in London. I just left Cambridge and I didn't have a house or a job or anything, and I was watching a lot of kind of sports drama movies.
Right, okay.
So things like from like the Mighty Ducks and like Any Given Sunday and The Replacements and there's so many of these movies, and I just kind of had this personal project where I was just watching them, and the guys in the band we'd be in the van and they'd go, "Oh, have you seen this one?" And it built into this. Me watching I think I watched like 300 movies that year or something insane. Yeah, I should have got a job sooner. But it, most of those movies are about kind of people who are also rans or who people are dismissing for various reasons, who then kind of upset the odds and come back and achieve something. Some of my favourites are when they struggle and then actually they don't make it. Like they have the big showdown and they lose at the end. Because that to me is sort of more true to life in a lot of ways. But I think I just started thinking about the potential for kind of blurring the lines. You can have a sports metaphor that really applies to people's lives or whatever. And I just thought it'd be fun and interesting. Something I'd never written about before, and I thought it'd be an interesting challenge to try and write, because we're not. Most people, you say sports in the UK and they kind of think of like lad culture, which we're defiantly not. Like that, and I thought it'd be interesting to try and make something that spoke to people who are not of that world and have no interest in it, but that is really about something that people who are in that world also care about. And that was kind of just a personal project. But
it's cool.
I did my best.
I like football. But
me too. I love it. But
Los Campesinos do some good football songs as well.
10-year.
Oh yeah, of course. I saw that.
It's
really cool. Yeah, they do some good football related.
Well,
lyrics
it's just something. It's actually it's just about. It's something that makes you feel stuff. You go to a football match and you've got that tribal mentality, and you're caring about something that is kind of beyond your control, really. And you have those highs and lows, and it's incredible feelings. Like
it's real drama.
Exactly.
You can't manufacture it.
And it speaks certainly to me like that it's actually a similar thing going on when you're watching great music. You're feeling emotions that are being kind of controlled by those people and your knowledge of the songs or whatever. But I think it is rooted in somewhere in the same place. So to me, it was kind of a natural fit.
Yeah, well, it's cool. It's a good song as well. So do you get sick of answering questions about your dentist?
Oh, no one ever asked me questions about my dentist.
Really?
Yeah,
no way. Okay,
no
well, I'm going to ask you then. Do you still have the same dentist?
I don't, but
Okay.
I have a new dentist. She's very good, and she is in fact the. Did you watch the children's TV show, The Demon Headmaster?
Yeah.
She is the girl, like the star.
No way.
Yeah, it's her. It's my dentist.
That's crazy.
She's became a dentist after she had like a childhood acting career.
Wow.
She's a really good dentist.
Yeah. You got very nice teeth, so.
Oh. Thank you. She does a good job.
Yeah.
I haven't told her about
Right.
my previous.
Yeah.
But the last dentist I told about it, then retired.
Really?
She stopped being a dentist.
Right.
I was telling her about it in the appointment, and she was like, "Oh, write down the thing." I did, and then about a month later, I got a phone call going, "I'm actually not being a dentist." Now that I say it out loud, it sounds like maybe she's still being a dentist, but
she just wanted to get rid.
Okay. Well.
So she found out then. You told her.
I think I told her. I don't know what I was doing. I get really excited when I go to the dentist, and it's just like a fun experience for me. And I don't think I must have told her.
Right.
And just, now that I reflect on it, it was a bad idea, so I'm not going to tell.
You got to put yourself out there, you know.
Yeah, but there's only so many times when you've been hurt before.
I suppose it's one of those situations where you're going to see them again. So unless they retire.
Unless they or dump you as a patient.
Yeah.
Which appears to have been what's happened. And she's a good dentist, this new one. So
oh well, yeah, you've moved on. You've got a new
for
dentist.
a while.
Just sing her the song.
Oh my God.
Just say you'll pay her in
awkward.
songs.
With her hands in my mouth.
Yeah. I've seen you play with Kevin Devine solo, both in Manchester, the Deaf Institute, and at St Pancras Old Church at the Discovery shows, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Was that kind of nerve-wracking playing solo shows or playing with Kevin Devine to like? I mean, they weren't like, you know, huge audiences, but it's a very different setting to like full band.
Yeah. No, again, it's something I've done quite a lot of in the kind of gaps when Tellison isn't hugely active, or if we get offered shows that I really want to do, for example, supporting Kevin Devine, but the band can't do it, I'll kind of often offer my solo services. And sometimes people say, all right. Yeah. And I played with Kevin solo a couple of times before, and he kindly asked me to come back and do that St Pancras one, which was insane. He's so good. Before that show, we were in the little dressing room bit, and I realised, because he did like every record he's done on 3 consecutive nights, and I was like, you've got all those songs in your head, and in the backstage he was just kind of messing around and figuring out like Smith songs and stuff. I was just going, you're like another, I can't.
He's incredible.
You are like a true, like a kind of natural musician in a way that I don't have that at all. But he
just comes with being ginger.
Right. Yeah. I mean, blessed by the gods. But no, I quite like doing solo stuff. It's very different. But I think with Tellison, I come to rely on the other guys, in that I can kind of stop and tune my guitar, or I know that if I mess up, they're really kind of keeping everything going. And when they're not there, it's quite exhilarating, because when I mess up and I do, everything just stops, and then I have to kind of dig myself out of that, so it's quite fun.
That's cool. I love Kevin Devine as well. He's
me too. He's amazing.
He's one of my favourite artists like of all time. So that show was amazing as well.
Yeah.
You were really good, by the way.
This is full of compliments.
Well,
you waiting for like some terrible.
That's what I do.
Terrible.
No, that's it. That's the end.
Punch. Are we finished?
So we're done. Yeah.
Thanks.
It was great.
It was
Nice way to end it.
Yeah.
That was Stephen from Tellison. If you haven't heard Hope Fading Nightly, definitely check it out. It's a great album. Tact is Dead, probably the highlight. So if you just want one song, then check that out. If you like the video, then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and all that shit. And we've got more coming soon. So see you later. Bye. That was cool, man.
No.
Yeah. Sorry.